The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your host, Jason Beck, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Monday, March 2nd, 2026, and today is it's National Banana Cream Pie Day, Jenny Beth.
Yeah.
National Old Stuff Day.
Where's Dale?
That's a low blow. Low blow. And it's a National Read Across America Day, better known as Dr. Seuss Day.
That's cool.
Dr. Seuss, you know what I mean? Green eggs and ham for everybody. You know what I'm saying, Jenny Beth?
You know what else it is? It's JB Squared Day.
It is JB Squared Day today, Jenny Beth. You are correct about that. And thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above and down below to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, Instagram, Facebook, Kick, as well as on our very own website, www.high9news.com. So welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms. And Mr. Minardi happens to be on trial this week, so he's not going to be with us this week, but he will be back with us next week, and you know what I'm saying? And Gary had something he had going on today, so we just got us, Jenny Beth.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, look at that. It's the real JB Squared. She's so excited today. She is so excited. Look at that smile.
Trying not to cough. I'm still getting over whatever I had last week.
Let you tell it. That's cute. But there's a new bill that seeks to undo Michigan's new 24% tax on marijuana. That's right. A new bill introduced in the Michigan legislature would reverse a new 24% tax charged on wholesale marijuana products. Lawmakers approved the tax last fall as part of the budget negotiations, and it took effect on January 1st. A bill introduced by Republican State Senator Jonathan Lindsay of Coldwater would revert marijuana taxes back to 10% included in the Michigan constitutional amendment allowing for adult use cannabis sales and use of the drug. In a quote, he says, "I oppose the new tax increase, first and foremost, because it represents an unnecessary growth of government. Lansing's budget does not need to grow larger. We simply need better discipline," he said. He is concerned that the 24% tax is hurting Michigan's growing marijuana industry and is blamed for widespread job losses. In an additional quote, "I also don't believe that the long term this mechanism will generate the expected revenue, especially if sales go down as a result of increased taxes or if legal challenges against the tax prevail," Lindsay said. He said the bill has strong bipartisan support with 4 Republicans and 3 Democrat co-sponsors. Says, "This is about reining in the government's constant attempt to get just a little bit more out of people," Lindsay said. "And Lansing must realize that growing government by taxing businesses into oblivion has never been and never will be a way to encourage a healthy Michigan economy." Senate Bill 810 was referred to the Senate Committee on Government Operations. It would have to pass there in the full Senate and the House before heading to Governor Gretchen Whitmer's desk. Wow. This is great news. There is some common sense people in Michigan. And look, they have 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats on this, Jenny Beth. This is a common sense bill, and I really like this guy. I like what this guy is saying. I think this guy should possibly run for possibly a higher office sometime. I know I would support that. And this guy's name, where did it go? Where was this guy's name? Republican State Senator Jonathan Lindsay of Coldwater. Shout out to Jonathan Lindsay of Coldwater for having some common sense reform when it comes to this. What do you have to say, Jenny Beth?
I mean, I just love that you liked him so much you forgot his name so quickly. You know what I mean?
You know, I'm
Yeah.
short-term memory loss kind of thing, Jenny Beth.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm definitely for lowering taxes. I mean, I think that makes absolute sense. You can't tax businesses out of business and expect to generate revenue from them.
No, especially not when you're trying to get $420 million out of them. See?
Can I have some?
Exactly. See? So, you know, Michigan, I hope this bill advances. You guys definitely deserve this. And on that, I guess, Jenny Beth doesn't sound like she has any more else to mention on this.
I mean, it's common sense, right? Like, roll it back. It
is. Roll up and roll back. They need to just incorporate that into their, you know what I'm saying? And I like how this Mr. Lindsay guy, how he also says that government doesn't need more tax revenue. They just need to learn how to spend their money more wisely.
Yeah.
I like this guy. I think I'm a fan. And on that, we're going to roll into our first commercial, and we are going to be right back. Yes, and we are back. And Jenny, oh man, this may be the biggest story of the day, Jenny Beth.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. It's some good news. Because the Supreme Court ponders law making it a crime for gun owners to use marijuana, you guys. That's right. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments today, this morning, in an important gun case that has united an array of strange bedfellows, from conservative gun rights groups to liberal civil liberties groups. At issue is a federal law making it a crime for drug users to possess a firearm. It's the same law that was used to prosecute then President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, for illegal gun possession. Only this case involves marijuana use and gun ownership, and not crack cocaine. The briefs in this case present diametrically different versions of the facts. On one side, the Trump administration portrays Ali Danal Hamani as a drug dealer and someone with terrorist ties and a marijuana habit. And importantly, he is not being prosecuted for any of those offenses. However, rather, the government has charged Hamani with violating a federal gun law that bars drug addicts from possession of a firearm, a crime punishable by up to 15 years in prison. The Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals threw out the indictment, declaring that the federal law violates Hamani's Second Amendment right to own a gun. And the Justice Department appealed to the Supreme Court, arguing that because Hamani admitted to FBI agents that he used marijuana several times a week, he is a persistent drug user, thus rendering illegal the possession of the gun he bought legally and keeps securely in his home. Hamani's lawyer, law professor Naz Ahmad of the City University of New York, paints a very different picture of her client. Hamani, she notes, was born and raised in Texas and attended high school there, played on the high school football team, attended the University of Texas at Arlington, was an honor student there, and is a really valued member of his local religious community. The Second Amendment doesn't support disarming and prosecuting somebody for mere possession of a firearm if they happen to have used marijuana occasionally, she says. That's a mismatch, she adds, especially at the time when 40 states, to one degree or another, have legalized cannabis use. If the court rules against Hamani, she says, the statute could apply to anybody and it could apply to somebody who uses like a marijuana sleep gummy, she says. The Trump administration's advocate Solicitor General D. John Sauer acknowledges that under the Supreme Court's landmark gun decision 4 years ago, the government has a heavy burden to show that modern-day gun laws are analogous to laws in place at the nation's founding. But he contends that the statute used to prosecute Homani is both justified and analogous to founding-era laws and practices. Superficially, in his Supreme Court brief, Sawyer points to the harsh punishments imposed during the founding era on habitual drunkards. I almost said drunktards. But
Jesus, Jason.
And he contends that both Congress and the states have restricted firearm possession by illegal drug users for as long as the social evil has plagued America, he said. That said, for the most part, the case seems to have united groups from left to right, from civil liberties groups to gun rights advocates. And they say, it's outrageous that they tried to get him on marijuana gun charge, says Adian Johnson, director of the Federal Affairs for Gun Owners of America. And he contends that the government is seeking to criminalize conduct that was widely tolerated at the founding. And a quote, "It was the universal custom of founding-era militias to imbibe," he notes, adding that Thomas Jefferson and the famous Americans possessed firearms while being users of drugs ranging from opium to cocaine. And at the opposite end of the ideological spectrum are a variety of gun safety groups that fear that if Homani wins his case, it could gouge a hole in the existing system of national background checks. Under the current system, dealers are required to first clear the sale by submitting the buyer's name to the FBI's National Instant Criminal Background Check System. And the hitch is that there is a very small window in which to complete the check, just 3 days. Gun safety groups say that anything that makes the rules more complicated and unclear could really screw up the system, and says, "We're saying to the court, whatever you do, it's essential that you keep the rules clear so that in that short window, federal agencies can give a quick answer to the dealers," says Douglas Letter of the Brady Center to prevent gun violence. An adverse ruling, he says, would mess up the criminal background check process. That in turn would result in so many, particularly women and children, who will die if that kind of a system is not in place. I'm not sure if I'm buying that, but a decision is expected in the case. Is going to be expected in this summer, Jenny Beth, but they're hearing oral arguments today. And what do y'all have to say?
Well, word is analogous, but you did a good job, Jason.
Analogous. That's something.
Yeah.
Close.
I mean, this is getting a little ridiculous because I get it if you're a drug user, but weed's a plant. So.
It is. It is. I mean, I like
just a fancy florist over here.
It has brought a lot of really good, a lot of different groups together that normally are not political bedfellows. Like the ACLU and the NRA both agree on this.
Crazy.
Like, man, mark that in your calendar, Jenny Beth. That is a historical moment right there. Jason. Yeah, so I already marked it. I woke up to that. I was like so excited this morning. I was like, oh man. I was like, this summer we're gonna be able to, have a real 4th of July with, what I'm saying? Real shoot 'em up bang bangs.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome, Jenny Beth. They said there's a rule is gonna come out this summer. I mean,
listen, cannabis use should not prohibit you from being able to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm. I just don't see how any of these justices, unless they're paid off in some way, in my opinion, are able to rule in favor of the federal government on this. And I think the federal government argument is super, super weak on this. And the fact that it's going to be going to Schedule 3, possibly even before the Supreme Court makes this decision, could also be another interesting piece in the decision making of this case.
There are a lot of things going on here, and I can't wait to see what happens. So hopefully we'll have a follow-up for that tomorrow after the oral arguments are heard today.
Oh, man, if not, I know Dale will probably bring something about that on Wednesday as well. But nonetheless, fair enough. Hope you guys enjoy the shoot 'em up bang bang over there at the Supreme Court today. On that, we're going to roll into Miss Jenny Beth Dills. She's the founder of Kind Cannabis and of Justice Served, a 501c3 that helps justice-impaired individuals get their lives back on track after they've been victims of the track. That's right, it is none other than Miss Jenny Beth Dills.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Money Monday. Happy JB Square Day. To everybody watching the show. And Jason, the gift that keeps on giving. Let's go to New York. Are you ready?
I love New York.
Yeah, and it's not a story about how much poop was under that snowdrift on the sidewalk, but it's none of our business. Here we go. It is a shitty story, though. New York regulators are pulling dozens of cannabis products off the shelves after discovering testing errors that could affect consumer safety. Oh, no, not again. The New York State Office of Cannabis Management has issued a precautionary recall of multiple adult-use marijuana products that were tested by Keystone State Testing, New York. Officials say a records audit found the lab reported unreliable results that failed to meet safety standards, including inaccurate readings for harmful mold and heavy metals. Those are important ones. The recall affects more than 50 products, lots sold through licensed dispensaries statewide. Products with faulty test results are now considered potentially unsafe. You think? So regulators are urging anyone who purchased them to stop use and return any unused portions to the place of purchase.
Interesting. Jenny Beth, you went on mute. Did you hit mute?
Oh, I didn't. Somebody's trying to call me. My gosh.
Oh, okay. All right.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
All right. The recall affects more than 50 products statewide. They're saying that they are unsafe. Imagine that. Heavy metals and mold make your products unsafe. Couldn't imagine. So far, the Office of Cannabis Management says there have been no reported adverse health effects from these products, and the recall is being issued as a public health safeguard as the investigation continues. So if you bought some cannabis in New York lately, you might want to check your batches and take those right back where you got them.
I mean, New York. I mean, they had this whole problem with the inversion. Do you remember this, Jenny Beth? This whole inversion thing? And I wonder if these vapes are products of inversion that they didn't catch.
It didn't really just say it was vapes, so that's an issue.
But inversion was happening with distillate liters. That was the big
absolutely.
thing. So,
but I mean, if you think they weren't, inversion wasn't happening with flour too. Got another story for you, Jason.
Oh, I love another story, Jenny Beth. But you know what I'm saying? New York, I'm not surprised by this. I mean, I personally, I'm not a fan of any of the vape products personally. That's just my personal thing. I don't trust anyone's hardware more than I probably trust the product, but that's just me. I don't think there's been enough science around the efficacy of these products, and that also goes for tobacco vapes too. It's because to me it's all the same hardware. That's right. Jenny Beth don't care. She's like, you know what? My immune system's working great.
Yeah, listen here. I've been patient zero for so many things. Let's just go ahead and see what's happening. But yeah, no, this is definitely important. I wanted to get this one out here because, yes, it is just another recall, but it is a health and safety one. So this one's actually important. They didn't mess up potency. They didn't mess up labeling. They let products seep into the market with heavy metals and pesticides. And now you're going to combust that product and inhale it. So let's try not to do that.
Well, here's the thing, Jenny Beth. Was this product tested after it was already on shelf, so afterwards? So there is a possibility that maybe some of this product leached, and therefore that's why it went into higher heavy metal testing, because the metals in the hardware of the vape leached into the product.
I mean, I don't know why you're focused on vape so hardcore, because it's not just vapes. Like, I mean, we're talking about molds and heavy metals. That's definitely flour. I've never seen a vape with a whole bunch of mold in it, but you know.
That's fair. That's a fair thing. I'm just talking about the heavy metal component. That's the only part I'm talking about.
They're saying that the test results from the lab were unreliable, so they weren't meeting state standards with their testing. So that's going to be an SOP issue at the lab level, which is unfortunate, because that is the only operator that you should really, really, truly be able to trust what they're telling you, because they're making sure you're safe, or not in this case.
Apparently not. I mean, and we covered a story last week that kind of talked about this too. So I'm not sure if the labs are actually so safe as they want to be hyped up to be. But
it sounds like they're not, Jason Beck.
Doesn't sound like they are. Exactly. Man. Well, on that, look at this. We're running way ahead of time of schedule, Jenny Beth, when it's just me and you just doing this. Look at that.
We're efficient.
Look at that. We are very, very efficient. And on that, we're going to roll into the most efficient administration commercial ever.
Rescheduling cannabis, which was classified as more dangerous than fentanyl. Trump's action will destroy the cartel's illicit black market, expand medical research, and ensure seniors and veterans safely receive the care they need. Thank President Trump for delivering on another America First promise.
Yes, and we're back. Stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you smash that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.highat9news.com. And please make sure that you are following us on X and Rumble, as those are the two most stable platforms on the metaverse. And please join us March 15th, 3 p.m. at the Hollywood Chinese Man's Theater as we protest these pedophiles and these Hollywood elites that have been doing bad things. So make sure that you join us and the whole Catalyst crew out there. That's right, March 15th. Mark your calendars, 3 p.m. outside Chan's Chinese Theater. And on that, we're going to roll into our next commercial, and we are going to be...
Under President Trump, America is back. Trump's delivered the largest tax cut in history, putting more money in our pockets and restored America's economic dominance. Promises made, promises kept. Now it's time to fulfill another promise from President Trump and reschedule cannabis, which supports over 400,000 jobs and creates billions of dollars in economic growth. Reschedule cannabis and stack another win, Mr. President. America First Agriculture Action, Inc. is responsible for the contents of this advertising.
Yes, and we are back. And Jenny Beth, I hope you're ready for this, because the Nebraska tribe is moving forward with medical marijuana despite state pushback. That's right. The Omaha tribe is moving forward with its plan to bring medical marijuana to the state. The tribe officially legalized medical cannabis and adult use cannabis in July, and since then it has faced pushback from the state over a tobacco tax compact. The tribe and state disagree about how to best split tax dollars from tobacco sales, and the tribe is asking for 90% of tax revenue from tobacco sold on the reservation, and other tribes receive 75%. Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen has also weighed in, holding up those negotiations due to his opposition to medical and adult use cannabis on tribal land. A bill has been introduced in the legislature this session to push the issue forward, and the Omaha tribe Attorney General John Cartier said that focusing on building and operating a cannabis dispensary would go a long way toward alleviating some of the financial concerns if tobacco money dries up. In a quote, "While that would be hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue from the tobacco tax compact side, we're talking millions, tens of millions of dollars in revenue from the medical cannabis side. So when you're comparing those numbers, it's obvious which is going to be better for the tribe long term." And Cartier added that the tribe's focus will first be on medical cannabis, leaving adult use sales for a later date. And he said the shift from tobacco to medical cannabis is a big one for the tribe's image into the future. "There is also something to be said for, instead of working in the tobacco industry, which has killed hundreds of thousands of people, shifting to specifically medical cannabis, which helps people and gives them the relief they need." The plans for medical marijuana on the reservation include a dispensary and a testing facility, which would be the first in Nebraska. And Cartier said that building the infrastructure alone would create sorely needed jobs for those living on the reservation and in Thurston County. "Any sort of industry that we can create jobs with this instrumental in the success of the tribe moving forward, will be instrumental in the success of the tribe moving forward," Cartier said. "And so a cannabis operation requires, at the size we're looking at least 100 jobs, and that right there is going to be..." Why did you do that? Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Got some little pop-up thing. I don't understand what the hell is going on.
What's it gonna be, Jason?
I don't know how to get rid of this thing. Son of a biscuit. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. Biscuits sound good. I should make biscuits. Well, everybody, I love Jason's confused face on a Monday morning. We'll be right back with you. Hold on one second. Hold that thought.
What the hell? The hell? Why do you even pop up in the first place?
Oh, technology, making our lives simpler, one pop-up at a time, Jason.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's like it shouldn't even be popping up. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, you guys. Cartier said, so a cannabis operation requires, at the size we're looking at least 100 jobs. And that right there is going to be a massive economic boon, not just for the workers, but through the revenue we generate to tribal members. The reservation is currently dealing with an estimated 60% unemployment rate, and Cartier said development of the dispensary, cultivation, and testing facility is well underway and anticipates the tribe will have it up and running by the end of 2026, you guys. Look at that, Jenny Beth. Shout out to these Native American tribes out there in Nebraska about to start bringing weed for the people all across the state. What do you have to say about this?
I mean, it gets a little touchy when you're talking about licensing and tribal sovereignty. It's a fun space to kind of work around, but they might want to keep all that activity on tribal lands. I just kind of have a little concern because some of the things that look at me, I'm Dr. Mark and Dr. Jean Talleyrand at the same time.
Yep, I know. Gabriel needs to hit the adjustment button. I don't have that button on my thing.
Oh, you're okay. I just got credentials. That's all. I think that it's really interesting to see how this is going to unfold. And I actually agree with one of the folks in the comments. It's definitely not about people's health. It's about the money on, and they want some.
They want that money, that's for sure. Now, I wonder, I could just see, when they open, I could imagine, because it's Nebraska and, the prohibitionists that love to reside in Nebraska, I would imagine that they would probably direct their highway patrols to, county sheriffs or whatnot, to sit outside of the tribal grounds, the entrances and whatnot, and wait and just pull over people leaving the tribe. You know what I'm saying? Leaving there.
Of course they are.
Yeah, but you know what? This is the thing. And this is why this is why I'm bringing it up, is because they can't do that from bars, because that's considered entrapment. And so I would imagine that there's probably going to be some cases that people are going to be able to file against their sheriff's department and possibly sue their counties and possibly highway patrol or state troopers, whatever they have out there.
Well, listen, checkpoints are unconstitutional, but they happen every freaking day. And we're also talking about the state that when Colorado legalized, put up signs on their side of the border saying this is not Colorado and started pulling people over. So expect more of the same. It's absolutely going down. Got to keep that butt puckered in Nebraska.
Oh man, keep it tight. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they it's rough out there in Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kreba said, Jason, tell me about it. I live in a house on the prairie in Kansas that still hasn't legalized. But they are trying to get it. Something going on out there for you in Kansas. That part is true. Well, on that, we're going to roll into our final commercial of the day, and we are going to be right back.
Oh, man, your knees still bothering you, man?
Yeah, my left one, And I'll tell you what, I've been using this new CBD cream, and it works like a miracle.
CBDs? I done heard about them CBDs. I was out there on them Twitters the other day, and I heard they get you high as a kite.
Well, not this stuff. This stuff is tested. Every batch, all the way through, pharmaceutical grade, and in a GMP certified facility. So you're not going to have to worry about flying high.
GMP certified. I might have to try some of this out. Where do I even find this?
You go directly to aimhighhemp.com and they will ship it to your door right away. Tested. It's not a name, it's a promise.
And we are back. And Jenny Beth, I got a Missouri story for you because Missouri cannabis regulators target rule breakers and delays in ownership approval. Having a rule breaker in a position of power would lead to a fine of up to $100,000 or suspension or revocation of a license under proposed state rules. Interesting. They have those laws in place in California, but don't affect them on some people. It's crazy. Missouri cannabis regulators want more power to penalize bad actors in the marijuana industry, according to drafts of proposed rules released last week. The sweeping revisions to the Division of Cannabis Regulation rules also aimed to streamline the process for ownership changes, allow publicly traded companies to own cannabis licenses, and establish recall procedures of cannabis products containing unregulated THC. The proposed guidelines would particularly clarify what happens when there are rule breakers, and then in quotes they say, exercising a controlling influence over a facility, said Amy Moore, director of the division that oversees the marijuana program. What we're saying in the rule is if a year from now, if the rules are approved, we look at your ownership and we see you have someone exercising a controlling influence that you know has done these things, then that is a violation. Moore was speaking of the rules' detailed list of offenses that include selling or distributing unregulated THC, committing theft or other criminal offenses on the job, fraudulently using an agent identification card, tampering with or falsifying video recordings, and refusing to cooperate with a department investigation. Having a rule breaker in a position of power would lead to a fine of up to $100,000 or suspension or revocation of a license, according to the rules. And the changes address some of the challenges regulators have encountered with facilities, such as the case of the Delta extraction manufacturing and Red Tractor cultivation facilities. Nearly a year after the state stripped Robertsville-based Delta Extraction of its license for adding unregulated THC to its products, regulators approved one of the company's co-owners, AJO LLC, to take over a cultivation and manufacturing facility in Waynesville back in May of 2024. Lisa Cox, spokeswoman for the division, told The Independent last year that the rules currently do not prohibit individuals who have had a license revoked from acquiring another license. The Kansas City owner of Red Tractor pled guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges for submitting fraudulent documents to cannabis regulators in 2021 to obtain a marijuana cultivation license. And without a felony conviction to make him ineligible, Wagoneer retained the 2 cannabis manufacturing licenses held by his company. The public can comment on the division's website until March 10th, and regulators will review them and decide whether to formally submit the rules to the Secretary of State's office. And this is the second time the division has asked for public input on most of these rules, with the first being in August. The most interested parties, the cannabis business owners, are working on submitting feedback to the latest draft, said Jack Cardetti, spokesman for the Missouri Cannabis Trade Association. And when a cannabis facility wants to make a change in ownership that's more than 50%, they have to fill out a business change application and get pre-approval to do so. That process can drag on anywhere from 6 months to a year, Moore said, and in a quote, "It has proven over time to be so rare that we find a constitutional violation in these things. It feels like we can do away with a business having to wait any amount of time for our pre-approval. Instead, every licensee will submit a report annually that outlines ownership percentage for each entity or individual, and licenses must still seek pre-approval if they're adding a new owner or an individual who has 10% or more interest, or they're fully transferring their license to another entity." In a quote, "I think it's going to be more difficult, more efficient for us, and definitely more efficient for the businesses," she said. A state audit released last week found that the division took an average of 165 days to approve or deny business ownership changes and requests for submissions to final action based on data the auditor reviewed from 2020 through 2023. The auditor urged the division to decrease the turnaround time, and Moore feels this will help that. And in a quote says, "It also allows us to be reviewing more frequently for some and as frequently as you need for the others. I think it'll be just more efficient government." The annual review requirement will also offer opportunity for regulators to catch rule breakers in ownership or management positions, and another place of enforcement is with agent IDs. The rules would require these managers or decision makers to apply for an agent ID when they previously didn't need one if they weren't working inside a facility, and people who've committed certain offenses wouldn't be eligible for an agent ID. The change business application is another place where regulators will be looking to enforce rules against bad actors, and the list of 10 offenses gives applicants a clear idea of what might get an application denied, Moore said. It gives everybody fair warning that before they get into business relationships and before they get into the application process, what may cause us to say no. Oh, Missouri, you're switching it up on them. What do you have to say about this, Jenny Beth? To me, a lot of this seems common sense, personally.
It is common sense. It is common sense. And you're supposed to do an ownership review every year for most states. Also, badging, it's just fine. They do it in Colorado. It's just fine. So I love Missouri falling apart a little bit because I've always been arguing with you about how Missouri hasn't gotten it right. You know, they've got all these
They're the best market in
owners
the
that
nation.
aren't owners and all this craziness and trying to figure out who owns what and who's controlling what and where the heck they even came from. And in the Delta operation, that guy wasn't even allowed to be in a facility as a employee, much less have financial interest in it. So, you know, God bless. Go ahead and get it together. And Jason, I do love your lady voice first thing this morning.
Do you like that?
Not really.
Interesting. I'm glad that you love it.
So,
I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you love the little voice. You're always usually such a hater on my voices, so I'm really happy to hear that, Jenny Beth.
I'm still hating on it. I said not really. I was kidding.
I don't hear ridiculousness, Jenny Beth.
That's
I only hear the good stuff, Jenny Beth.
Well, there you go. Take it where you want it.
Fair enough. I mean, a lot of this all sounds like common sense, and Missouri is the #1 market in the nation as far as I'm concerned. They've done it better than any other state, period, hands down.
If you're going to hit me with a $100,000 fine, just take my license. That's insane.
$100,000 is nothing to a boss, though, Jenny Beth.
Yeah, they don't have $100,000. I'm about to guarantee that.
Those people in Missouri, I do, because they're actually making money out there. They're getting that paper, Jenny Beth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all right.
Well, all right. Fair enough. I have one final story for you, Jenny Beth. Are you ready for it?
Are you going to use weird voices?
Maybe. Okay. Do you want me to use a weird voice?
Nope.
I don't know why you're such a hater on my voices. They're fantastic. There's a lot of people that say that I should do children's story hour.
You should, but, you know, this is adult story hour.
Well, I do it for grown-up kids, too, Jenny Beth.
I mean, listen. What do you got, Jason? Bring it up. The boost of the show. The biggest rear end on the High at 9 News. The High at 9 head honcho, the highest Republican in most rooms, Jason Beck.
In any room, Jenny Beth, and thank you very much for that. Very nice to hear from you today. But a Milwaukee courthouse marijuana odor draws criticism from a judge. That's right. A Milwaukee County judge publicly criticized the lingering smell of marijuana inside the Milwaukee courthouse, or the Milwaukee County Courthouse, during a sentencing hearing on Thursday, February 26th. Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge David Borowski addressed the odor in his courtroom and the hallway outside during court proceedings. I'm going to say I'm not thrilled that my courtroom smells like marijuana, Borowski said. And the hallway outside my courtroom smells like marijuana. Awful ton of marijuana. There's nothing I can do about that, but it's inappropriate. It's still illegal, and anybody that thinks it's a good idea to get high before you come to court really needs a reality orientation. That's a side note, and it has nothing to do with the sentencing, but that's what it's coming to in this community. That this courthouse smells like weed every day, and the courtroom is bad. The hallways are worse. The courthouse, including all public areas, is a smoke-free under Wisconsin law, and anyone caught smoking could face penalties, including a fine of up to $250. And people at the courthouse Thursday said the smell is common and becoming more noticeable. Hold on. It's just a very strong earthy smell, said Heatherly Sun Fox. I walked in through the tunnel to enter the courthouse today, and I did smell the smell. It's strong. I've smelled it at restaurants and taverns. Kinda like rotten skunk. That's the way I describe it. Others said they noticed the odor while entering the building. When you walk in, it's like security line, like, people are coming in. Navapert Kaur said, I wouldn't say particular places, but definitely when you walk past people in the hallway. Despite no smoking signs posted throughout the building, the odor continues to draw attention. And they say, if you're coming in for court, you want to come in straight. I mean, not half trashed, said Tranberg. I'm pretty open about how people choose to use plants, so I'm not for or against what people are doing with their own livelihood, said Sun Fox. But it really was interesting to me that I noticed it today, and now I'm here talking about it. It smells like weed in the court. Man, I'll tell you what, I'd rather smell a whole bunch of weed in the hallway than the smell of homeless people. So what do y'all have to say about this?
Boy.
Yeah, right.
Listen, don't go to court smelling like weed, especially if you're fighting a weed case. Like, just try to, spray
Jenny,
something.
But going to see a judge and going to court, it could be stressful, and a lot of people might need it to calm their nerves down before they go into that courtroom and have to face a judge.
I fully hear you, but it's fully stupid to walk in there so loud that they're talking about the smell in the hallways when you're probably sitting there fighting some kind of possession charge or, I don't know, a probation violation where you're not supposed to be smoking. Or just be smarter, you guys. Come on.
I didn't realize they had so much loud
Don't
out there
smell like
in Milwaukee.
Jason Beck's hallway.
I didn't realize they had so much loud out there in Milwaukee, Jenny Beth.
Right?
It must be all that stuff from Detroit.
Oh boy.
I mean,
they could just go have a beverage with our good friend Michelle. You know what I mean? Like, go get you a cannabis beverage.
You know what I wonder, really, Jenny Beth, is I wonder
what do you wonder?
If there's a bunch of I wonder if a lot of this aroma is from people hidden vape pens in the hallways as opposed to people actually smoking. I'm willing to bet a lot of it.
Extra stupid, also. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, there's a lot of people that hit vape pens in the hallways, or they'll like walk into the bathroom and hit their vape pen and da-da-da-da. There's no cameras in the bathroom, so you know what I'm saying? You're not going to get in trouble or caught doing that unless...
Jason, I'm just always amazed how dumb people are. People never cease to amaze me. I love on this Monday morning we could talk about somebody doing some stupid stuff again. I mean, just, oh boy.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
yeah,
I almost want to.
You should put 3.5 in the wood right before you walk into court. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not mad at that. Just over here burning incense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I've had my tobacco vapes taken before going into a courthouse.
Mm-hmm. Have you really?
So, yeah, they search you. You have to go through that little metal detector, Jason.
Yeah. I've never had a problem. I know you don't
typically appear for your court dates, so I'll let you know.
That's fair. That's fair. I usually don't. You're very, very true. That's very true.
Face was priceless.
That's very true. I'm not. I'm not. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't believe in showing up for court. I believe that other people would do a much better job on my behalf by doing that because they do that every day.
Yep.
And they wouldn't be late. You know what I'm saying?
They wouldn't smell like weed. They might. Shout out to that one defense attorney I know that takes a bong right before she goes into court.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. But, they don't complain about her smelling like weed.
I think they might have before. I'm not sure.
Have before. Well, that's probably just one of those finicky old
You
judges.
just want to put your best foot forward. That's why you're supposed to dress nice when you go to court. You know
I do
what
believe
You
in
wanna-
that.
You want to look and appear innocent, and like your little adjust your crown so it's your halo is shining. And
I totally agree with that, and I'm always amazed at some of the outfits people wear in court. You're so right about that, Jenny Beth.
So
yeah, people need to start dressing up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm actually working on something that is going to help a lot of people be able to dress up more. I'm actually working on a project right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to tell you guys about it when we're ready to launch it.
Go ahead and tell me.
I'm not.
Tell me now.
No, not until.
Just here. It's just us here. Nobody can hear us, Jason.
I bet. No, I'm gonna save it. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be so great. You know what I mean? It's gonna be so awesome. You know what I mean? We're gonna, make men's apparel great again. It's gonna be awesome, you guys. You know what I'm saying?
I bet Jason's making cufflinks.
There may just be some cufflinks involved in this.
I knew it.
It may just be. I'm a big
Fun
fan
fact,
of
the
cufflinks.
long-standing portion of our friendship is I've helped pick out a lot of Jason's cufflinks.
I'm a big fan of cufflinks. Okay, cufflinks I think is like one of the most amazing things that men's fashion has, and it's it's my favorite. And at the same time too, I only wear French cuff dress shirts because. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're gonna put on a collared shirt and get all dressed up and you're not wearing a French cuff shirt, it's like, what's the point? It's like, why are you
might
wearing a
go all the
collared
way
shirt?
with it. Yeah.
Like why are you? You know what I'm saying? Like you're not getting to floss any cufflinks. You just have like these buttons on the ends, and it just looks plain and bland.
And it's really hard to button your own buttons on your cuff.
It is. You know what I mean? Especially the little one, right? Like right here. Mm-hmm. That little one. So like I always try to make sure that I have them buttoned before I even put my shirt on, because otherwise it's a total nightmare. I could literally be there for 15 minutes trying to get one button buttoned.
And now he's late for court, and he thinks like weed,
And that might be why. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to lawyers, and you know what I'm saying? Much love to all the lawyers out there that show up at court on time every time. And if you notice too, when you have a lawyer in court, you know what I'm saying? They can be a little late, and then they get expedited. Because the judge is usually like, counsel, we're going to expedite you. We know you have a busy day today. We're going to expedite you. Meanwhile, everyone else is just sitting there in the peanut gallery like, oh, man, I've been here all morning and I was here on time. And this lawyer just walks in and just comes in and comes out. Like, what's going on? It's another reason to hire a lawyer. Be more efficient with your time. As we've been very efficient on our time, and we're actually ending 12 minutes early today. Look at that, Jenny.
Man.
Look at that, JB squared.
We should do this more often.
And on that, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific and high noon on the East Coast. And a big shout out to our audience and supporters for tuning in daily and listening to the insanity that is the developing cannabis industry. Huge thank you to Catalyst Cannabis for helping us keep the lights on over here. And thank you to our correspondents for being absolutely amazing. And thank you to Cannabis Sativa L for giving us a reason to do this every day. And thank you to Cloud Media partners Elias and Gabriel. They're somewhere in the metaverse. And thank you all for tuning in and getting high at 9 with us. We are America's #1 daily cannabis news show. JB
Cut
Squared.
and print.